The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour on this February 24th. And we've got an interesting market here. We were down fairly strongly. We got about two-thirds of it back, but we're still off 10 points on the S&P cash, kind of bouncing around these levels. Volume has not been very exciting above 1,900 on the S&P cash, but we're kind of dribbling up. And, of course, it's probably this doesn't mean a great deal as we go off into the next week and month, but the close will probably be a lot more important to us. We just got this kind of, I guess I'm going to call it a 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, at least so far today. But a great deal of the stocks tend to be not participating. There's a handful of stocks driving the market, and that would be it. What else? Okay, Spotify news, just looking at here. Spotify news. I don't know if that's that big a news or not. Anyway, we're off 10 points in the S&P cash. Kind of a quiet trading day after the open. A lot of people wanting to dive into crude. I think we could have a long, prolonged low in crude before we see a much bigger move in it, or let's say a trend. Right now, of course, a 10, 20% move in crude is not that big a deal. It should be interesting. Anyway, I guess this is the time that we need to get the party started.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1836, it's time to remember the Alamo. Through Santa Anna's 5,000 troops, heavily outnumbered several hundred Texans, Travis and his men determined not to give up. On February 24th, they answered Santa Anna's call for surrender with a bold shot from the Alamo's cannon. Furious, the Mexican general ordered his forces to launch a siege. Travis immediately recognized his disadvantage and sent out for several messages via couriers asking for reinforcement, addressing to his pleas the people of Texas and all Americans in the world. Travis signed off with the now famous phrase, victory or death. And, of course, unfortunately, he thought there were a bunch of people there, but there were only about 36 fighters in the town. They showed up to see Custer's last stand. But, of course, remember the Alamo. And why it's kind of important to me, because if you ever go to the Alamo, stand right there in the front doorway and turn around, you would have seen where there used to be a hospital across there. I haven't been down there in years, but there used to be a hospital right across the street from the Alamo. And that is where my mother bored me some 55 years ago. Anyway, we've got kind of a, like I said, an interesting market. It's going to be a lot more interesting. Oh, we've got a nice little pop up here, 1916 on the S&P cash. But it'll be very interesting to see what everybody does as we come into the close. Like I said, not a lot of volume here. Been very quiet in this last, pretty much above 1,900. So it may just be a lot of market gas as we go along it. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, and you can also post a message in the den if you would like. What else is going on out here? Japan. This is one of the more interesting articles I've seen out of the last couple of days. It prompted me to actually call a local safe company who turned me on to the manufacturer that could give me a little bit more color on safe sales. But between gold and everything else, I thought it was very interesting to see this article that basically showed that in the last year, safes are basically anywhere from 100 to 150% more sales of safes in Japan, and now starting actually in China. The business for home safes is becoming huge, because, of course, the threat of negative interest rates. People are buying more things like gold and just deciding to put their cash and going to the mattresses. But I was asking the safe manufacturer. He says he's making about 500 safes a day up in Utah. And I thought, well, that's pretty good business, isn't it? He did or was part of I was trying to find safe companies here in the United States if the exact same thing happened here. Of course, safe sales have been huge because, of course, most of these safe companies that make safes for cash also make safes for guns, and that is a huge issue. But hard to tell exactly what else we have going on in this, but very interesting to me to see that. And whether or not that's for gold or because that is for the issue with not being able to leave your cash in the bank, I think if people had already, gold went to $1,800. I think if you were going to buy gold and get a safe, maybe you already did that. I think it has to be. I think it has to be, especially just in the last year. It does have to say something about people being forced to spend their cash or put it somewhere, and just how many people are out there. But lots of articles around Japan about the huge dive into safes, which is probably a little bit better than a mattress. Yeah, big. Now, one of the more interesting charts that I've seen here lately is from the International Monetary Fund. You can see the growth forecast for the last 5 years, starting with the actual growth, which is the black line, and the forecast throughout these years. They've been pretty much wrong and wrong and wrong for the last 5 years. I guess eventually they do have to be right. Even a stop clock is wrong. But we continue to see over the last 5 years, if anything, it's kind of gone sideways for actual growth compared to what they forecast. But they keep moving it down. Doesn't look to me, this one I think came out yesterday, but even they are not saying that into the mid part of 2016 that they're going to be any better than about 3.3 or 3.4%. I thought very interesting. And that's pretty much it for the news. We'll get into a charting here. If I can find my icon for charts. Boy, what did that do? I just did something horrible. I don't know what it is, though. Oh, there. Oh, we're going to break anyway. I'll figure out where to find my chart at. For some reason, I've lost the little icon. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we've got some of these stocks kind of making a little bottom, at least, out here today. Amazon's probably the one that I'm watching the closest, just because if we actually look out here, what am I doing? Let me zoom this back out. This one's the one that has been bothering the most, mostly because depending on which ones you set up, we've got a fairly close. Let me find it here. Congestion zone just above it in Amazon. This kind of went up to it, touched it 2 days ago. It's pulled back a little bit. Down today, not all that exciting. It is making a little hammer candle out here. I don't know if you can make anything of that since it's not at a high or a low. But a little bit of reversement. Not a great deal of volume, though. And didn't have a lot of volume down, had even lighter volume as I watched it up. In fact, this I'm going to say everything from about 1900 on the S&P cash up to this level has had infinitesimal volume. Not that we had a lot of volume on the downside earlier today, comparatively to last week, but it seems to me like we are getting kind of closer to a narrowing trading range, and the volume is starting to pull back both on the upsides and downsides. But very, very light volume. I see a lot of also false or phony news articles about supposed buyouts. That worries me too if I was going to be long, which I'm not. I'm still ultimately a turducken of bearishness out here. What else do we have? I wanted to look at that one. Avis Budget, Avis Budget Group. I guess they're together now in a pit of everlasting despair. Off 25% today. It's hard for me to figure out how an economy with hotel business doing so well can be doing so poorly with rental cars. I always wonder whether Lyft and Uber is really enough. I mean, I can see that in New York and maybe LA and a handful of cities. But would that be something that would happen so universally that these guys just can't get it together? Is it poor management? Certainly, it is a monster load of volume that is blowing out the previous low of January 20th that had 5 million shares. San Francisco Uber rocks. It is. I quit using rental cars. Few people. I'm wondering if that isn't it. I mean, this thing, you were $50 and $53 on November 2nd. And this thing is off more than 50%. It's blown through the previous lows. If this is just not coming back, I mean, you've got a pretty much a range that goes back to what is that? 2013, kind of March of 2013, that went pretty much all the way through October of 2013 before this thing really started to run. I guess that's when business really started to come back. You really started to see the move of hotel rooms and the prices, airline prices also moving higher. Just looks to me like, man, is there anything down here that even looks like a potential bottom in the near future? I just don't see it. I mean, you all the way back to those 2013 ledge. So maybe could you bounce back up to it? But man, it is an ugly, ugly market out there for rental cars. On the upside out here, ECA Encana had some decent earnings and up 20% on. Let me get this right here. I don't know why. Did I write it right? ECA? Yeah. Not exactly sure why this thing does not like it. There we go. ECA. Okay. Nice bounce out here. ECA is up to $3.63. Not that big a deal. Etsy, of course, one of the other ones up about 10% today. That is ETSY. ETSY. There we go. Was that right? Yeah. Ooh. Still up 10%. Down in front of earnings, of course, everybody's selling it off yesterday and then plowing into it today. I imagine a few shorts in this, of course, given most of it back, at least from the opening of yesterday. This is going into a heavy down day going back to January 11th of about 2 million shares. But, monster volume on the downside yesterday, almost 4 million shares. Today, 6.5 million to the upside, but just filling that gap back from the 11th. This is kind of a very interesting company to me. It is a recent IPO if you're unfamiliar with this company. Basically, it kind of reminds me of kind of a Craigslist. You had a bunch of, I'll just call them what they are. They're hippie types that wanted to make all kinds of little crafts and everything else. It was only supposed to be handmade. I think it's only supposed to be made in the United States. They really rushed this one out as an IPO. Yeah, the first day was the high. It was like, what was the high of that day out there? $35.74. Done nothing but go all the way down. Did have a 50% bounce out of the July 6th low last summer, but continued to sell off. You could tell almost from the get-go that the management on this company had huge problems. They continue to wrestle. I'm going to say that the problems with this company are very much like Twitter. They never really had figured out how they were going to make a lot of money. They really never figured out how they were going to monetize stuff. If everything is handmade, you only have so long where you can actually get out. Yeah, it was supposed to be kind of the answer to eBay But it was really, as it went public, it became a lot more of these hippie types that wanted to make dream catchers and all kinds of little doodads, and as my dad used to call them, dust catchers that litter the house. But could you be finding a bottom? Is there a business model somewhere in all this stuff? I don't know. I still don't see any more clarity than I see with Twitter out here as far as an IPO, where they really had not figured out exactly how they were going to make money in this company and scale it out. Again, I guess if you had enough people making enough money, they could all be making their little dream catchers and doilies and everything else by hand. But that's continued to be a big kind of war inside what they call the community of Etsy. You know, were earnings better than people thought? Yes. But again, these earnings have been moved down every quarter since this thing has been moved out. So eventually you got to find a bottom. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We are flat on the S&P cash now, volume at 2.8 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. So very light and variable, but flat on the day now. And I guess, about 30 points off the lows. So fairly decent reversal out here. What else do we have moving out here? Let's take a look at the stocks. Freeport-McMoRan was off pretty heavy earlier today, FCX. It's made a little bit of a comeback. Let's take a look at it here. Well, still not back up into what it was. Kind of had a nice volume move up to the February 22nd high. It's kind of pulled back a little bit. Volume, so-so. I think that, if you were looking at this, you have a high volume day here on the 4th of February. That's probably where this thing would probably come back to. Close on that day was $5.72, and that would probably be what support is. You've got a lot of gaps on the way back up here, actually 4 gaps, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're kind of back into that from this morning's open. But could you fill those 3 gaps? I don't know if you could fill that gap at $5, but man, I think you'd have to look at the top of that candle from the 4th as the one where support would come in, and that's it closed at 572 that day, but a little bit better off than it was. Lows basically in line on earnings. Yesterday we opined about the problem with Home Depot. If you believed their earnings, they should have been $150 stock yesterday. This one kind of in line, didn't do a whole lot. Did go back and fill all of its gap that happened back on the 16th. That gap up was on decent volume, not a whole lot. Let's call it 7.8 million shares. We have 8 million and back into it today, so you're going to have more. So it's let's take a look at HD today also and see how that is trading. Home Depot. Of course, you had the sell-off yesterday. A lot of volume. Should have been able to hold somewhere around 127, especially if you believed any of the earnings reports on this. Down, not that much volume. This one has also 4 gaps underneath it, like a lot of the stocks out here. I just really dislike the energy off the bottom for both Lowe's and Home Depot. That February 8th low pivot point. So only about 2/3 the energy back up on this leg from the February 8th low, back up to these 127 highs, continues to be problematic. First Solar, FSLR, one that is perpetually short. I didn't look at it or even bother looking at it going into earnings. But it is always got something, a massive amount of shorts in it. Pretty big move out here. This one actually is keeping most of its move from today. Volume fairly decent at 6.2 million shares as we speak. A little off the highs, but not all that exciting. This is another one that came down on just about as many gaps down as you could talk. 3 gap down. So would you think this would certainly get back to the $72.12 from the January 5th high? I think it could. Let's take a little closer look at this pattern up here, if we can get it. Having a slow internet issue today. Not exactly sure why. Yeah, see if there's anything else out here. Let me turn this up. I mean, the one thing you don't like is that the volume really didn't decrease, at least enough for me. The January 20th low, 3.3 million shares. We have the February 12th low that pierced it, but did not break it. Out here with 58.08 on February 12th, 2.9. So the volume did kind of pull back just a little. So just a big trading range. Energy so far is okay to the upside, but not enough to make me think that 72.12 does not offer a lot of resistance back here from the January 5th high. Other stocks of interest today, Mobileye looked to me, MBLY, looked off early this morning. It was opened much lower. $24.75 was the low a day today. This one had kind of a nice little reversal, back up to a little higher than yesterday's close. And I don't know if you can make a great deal out of this other than this thing's been consolidating from about this $26 level. Kind of pierced it this morning, went back up. You've got $30.67 from the January 26th high. That's 4.7 million shares. You have 9 million shares now. We'll have to see what this does. But if you could get a second day of strength, maybe you have a low in Mobileye, but hard to tell out here right now. What else do we have going on? Go back and look at it. Check my email. Got a couple of emails. I'm looking at AER as a short. Looks like this could retest the recent lows. Earning was not spectacular. I was curious about what your power law vector showed for it. AER. AirCap Holdings. Well, he's not wrong. This thing's going back up to the gap around 36 bucks. It had about 5 million shares for the gap down. We got into it with 4.3 million shares yesterday. I still think, about 35 bucks on this on light volume. You've got light volume today, but that's kind of pretty much light volume in all the individual stocks today. Not a whole lot in the indexes so far. I mean, it's okay in the indexes, very light in the individual stocks itself. But I kind of like this thing probably to get into that gap at about 35 bucks. It wasn't a huge day down, but I have a feeling that maybe you'll see it enter that. That was the gap down day of the 15th of January. As I said, 5 million shares. You were a little short. Energy off the low was a little bit better than the last real leg down from 33 bucks. I think there's probably better fish in the sea. I will say that for a short. That one is probably going down. Another one, Harry in Virginia. He's not from Lutz. I've been looking at FTR for a year. Any thoughts on continuing to stay long? This is Frontier Communications. If you're unfamiliar with this company, a couple of nice days out here. They bought the FiOS servers and service down here in Florida. But that's it. The nice volume day yesterday, nice volume day today. He doesn't say where he is. It's just hard for me to see any of these companies that are in data, especially like Frontier. If you were going to buy them, I would say you wanted to buy them for dividends. I don't think that this is a growth business to really speak of. We'll look more at it when we come back.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
$2.9 billion shares on the S&P cash. We are flat on the S&P for the day after being down 30 points. The question is, how many people want to buy the breakout of being flat today? So we'll have to watch this. Of course, it's going to be much more important how the close comes in, especially the volume out here. 2.9 billion shares is rather weak for what we've had lately. What can you say? I am bearish, though. I am not trading intraday and putting on some positions that look rather weak to me, so I will be sitting on my hands. What else do we have going on out here? Tesla Motors, interesting. It was off about $10 earlier this morning. TSLA. Still think this thing is eventually hitting $40. Get back with me in a couple of years, maybe a year, maybe less. Nice little ABC forming as far as I'm concerned in this one. You finally got kind of up to this 382 level, and it kind of hit the part yesterday. Opened lower, of course, moving back up pretty much, 177. I do kind of like that there's a congestion zone around 192 to, what is that, about 180? Or no, 190? Could it get up to that? There's a nice little gap where this thing really started to go down on heavy volume. I suspect that maybe it could get into that. That's the bar of February 2nd, 5.7. Yeah, let's call it 5.7 million shares. Today, of course, 4.2. So you started to see, this is one of the days where you really started to see volume pick up in Tesla on the downside. He had like 8 million shares one day, 9.5 million shares. You're kind of going through that bar of the 5th that did have all that volume, 9.5, and get about 4.2 million shares, 6 million shares yesterday. Really not giving you a lot of sign of strength going through at least that, what was the range on that day? 162 to 173. Guess you could look at today as a kind of a move back into that on lighter volume. Could it still go higher? Could it get a 50% retracement? I mean, this is a darling of the people that really love the company. But I know a lot of people that really love Omega and everything else. But all these stocks that go down can bounce up, and even a 30 or 40 or 50% retrace is not beyond the scope of reason. Valiant Pharmaceuticals up about 5% today. VRX. And what do we have in that? Did I draw? Guess you can't really make a great deal out of that one. Come on. Yes, yeah, you can't. This is the 23rd, no, the 24th, isn't it? Come on, give. Now, having a fit with data today. 177.57. Valiant out here up 5%. Come on. See if we can't just reboot here real quick and figure this out. Where's my little icon on this? That one's that. And just give me 1 second and get this fired back up. Projects, art charts, then what was we were looking at? VRX? VR, is that what it is? VRX. Okay. There we go. No. Yeah. Man, it does not like me, does it? There we go. Okay. Yeah, a little bit more volume out here. You certainly had your high volume day yesterday with 28 million shares. Let's take a look at the IBB real quick. And yeah, you can say that was a 50% retrace, I bet, if we just take a quick look at it. Yeah, we kind of went through that today. 250.56 would have been a 618 on this. And what do you have for the low today? 250.20. So you did pierce the 618 retracement in the IBB off that 240 February 9th low up to the February 18th high. So you've had your 50% retracement. Just wondering if anybody would actually make the case, if I can out here. You know, you only had 4 or 5 days. The energy was a little lower out here. So you may make a case out here that the IBB at least is starting to make a decent bottom. You did have a low volume off of that today. So it would be interesting. You're back into that gap, actually a double gap when we look at it here. It gapped down the day of the February 8th. It gapped back up almost exactly through the same price range on the 16th. It's come back into that. What do you have for volume that day? 2.6 million shares. We've got 1.3 million shares. So not a lot of sample size out here, but you do have to kind of like the light volume over the last 4 days as this has come back into that gap. What else do we have? We looked at RIG, Mobile Eye. LNG has been the favorite today of CNBC. They've been nonstop showing some ship being filled with the natural gas. I have a feeling that that has a lot to do with Cheniere's pop today. You do have decent volume. You back through the January 2nd, 22nd high of $32.93, 4.1 million shares. Is it going to hold that high, though? You have 6.8 million shares already and need to hold that. What do you got? 33.26. You want to see this thing close above $32.93 today to see that this is just not more market gas out here in the market. So we're up 1 point in the S&P cash here, 2.97 billion shares. Let's see if we've got anything else out here. Dollar index is now flat on the day. It was up to 97.92, got to a low 87.23. The cash is trading at 97.48, which is pretty much in the mid range of the day. Okay, well, I'm going to say that it's a lot of what's going to happen in the last 30 minutes of the day. Is this just more market gas? A little bit of a short squeeze for people that dived in this morning? And we will see. Only the shadow knows.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we are back in the home stretch. Of course, we'll have Tom O'Brien back from his was he in Las Vegas? Well, I thought he was in Las Vegas and New York. I know he was in New York, but we'll have to hear all the tales of the road here for the next 2 hours. Got a few stocks after the bell tonight, and of course, a lot more, I think, really starting tomorrow. That kind of is going to wrap up earnings. I think a lot of people are looking at that and thinking maybe that's what we got coming. We looked at most of the stocks that would be mostly moving at here. I'm kind of very much more interested in the volume of the last say hour and a half, 2 hours since we broke through that 1900 level. A lot of volume up, a lot of volume down. I'm going to say this one's kind of almost to the eyes of the beholder, if you want to be long or short. Probably not as easy as a call as most out here on this reversal today. But I will continue sitting on my hands. I wanted to look at a few stocks. Let's take a quick look at Apple. I still can't see anything out here that tells me that Apple does not come back and test the August 24th low, which is at $92. We've gotten close to it. It had a whole lot less of volume. You were into the candle, but you never really broke that $92 level. Let's check the email real quick and see. Yeah. Get this one out of the way. Apple, you know, you got a little bounce out here today. You did have a little lighter volume. You had a little lighter volume last 2 or 3 days. I just can't suspect that we're that close to that $92 level that they're not going to shove Apple through it and at least shake as many as they can. So I would still say the gravitational force says that August 24th low needs or will be tested. I don't know exactly what the news is or anything else that will cause that to be tested. But this looks to me, the energy down off that high from 123.82 from November 4th was significant, about 25% more down into the January 20th low. You had a little pop to 101. You've been kind of going sideways out here. That makes me think that any real pop in the NASDAQ is probably going to be somewhat muted, and also in the S&P, although to a lighter extent. If you were really thinking that there was going to be a huge run, I would think that you want that 92 level on Apple first to get hit before you start really throwing cash at the NASDAQ for more than a day trade. But that is just me. Let's take a quick look at IBM. This thing had been moving back up, and I hadn't had a chance to see how it moved today. It did go and hit its gap. That gap was from the 7th of January. Kind of interesting out here. I still dislike the energy back off the February 5th high into the February 11th low, although that low did test it with a lighter volume and much lighter volume. You did break the January 20th low, 16 million shares with 7.3 million shares. To me, this is a lot more, or looks a lot more like short covering off the lows and one of the bounces. But again, probably more than likely we are looking at a trading range probably in that 135 area, back down to that 118 area. I think you'd probably need to get it tested a few times after the destruction in IBM, see everybody washed out of it, and then maybe a long-term low if you could get light volume once again in that area. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. See you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.